Well, hey there, YouTube. It's Petey, yakking again about guitar stuff. That's one of the things that I like to talk about on my YouTube is my what's going on with my hobby of making music and how that relates to the guitars. Um, I've been in a transitional period of getting my guitars fixed up, making sure that they're all really playable, and that's pretty much done now. There was some guitars in the stable that had really old strings on them. I had to go and change some of those strings out and clean some up. And there's still guitars that need to have that service done. Ultimately, I mean, I just put a pickup in one of our basses, and I put what's called a hot rail in my Strat. I had a hot rail on it, and it wasn't hot enough. Now, I think ultimately the set of music that we have here, it's like 16 songs, and it's really diverse as far as the type of music. Um, so it's at least two guitars, really three. It's really a three guitar set, minimum. Minimum. Now, mind you, when it comes to like me having this back injury and expecting, like, it's a big deal for my wife to have to help get this stuff out because, of course, I could do it, but like most of the time, she's helping me out. I'll hand her the guitar, she'll put it in the case for me, you know. And if you have a loved one who lives with chronic pain, you're lucky to have a loved one who will take care of you like that. I'm lucky to have her that she takes care of me. So I can't be like pretending I'm in Cheap Trick where I've got a different guitar for every song, which would be nice. But um, this is goes back to what I've been talking about lately. You can try to make one guitar do everything, and if you can pull that off for you, I don't think it's you can do that with a hot rail though. I think you have to have a full size humbucker, and then you can maybe do that coil tap thing. That would be the way you could go with it. But and I would say purchase that professionally done. Like research it and find out like, hey, who makes Strat with a humbucker in it that it's really well balanced and still does the 2 and 4 quack thing when you're in the single coil mode. Um, the other thing the main thing that I wanted to talk about in this video was I see these videos about squires, and they're implying that squires are just as good as fenders. There's a lot of videos on YouTube recently where they've been implying that. And now, okay, when you say squire, you cast kind of a broad net because isn't there a vintage modern squire or something? I don't know. I know that not all squires are created equally, but like when I say squire, I think of something you could get for $50. That's what I think because that's what I have. I have a $50 Strat. It's a good one. It's a good one, and I went through it, um, ripped all of the parts off of it, and replaced all of them. I know I didn't need to do that. You know, there are people are like, you can't polish a turd, which is true. It's true. I had someone who was giving me guitar advice who spoke so highly of the certain type of squire, the made in China. It doesn't have the skunk stripe on the neck. Um, he got it into my head that these guitars are just as good as the are very close. So the tremolo, like the saddles have been changed, and the block, it's got a brass block. The pickups have all been changed. It's been repainted. It's got locking tuners and roller nuts and all that. It's got a, what do you call it? Graphtec nut. Stays in tune. Sounds really good. But I've got a real Stratocaster that I bought um, in the 90s. This was like when pointy guitars were really, this was early 90s. Okay? This is like the end of hair metal time. So in this guitar store, somebody had bought a Strat for their kid for Christmas, and the kid didn't like it because it wasn't pointy. So they took it in and traded it in for something pointy. And they had this used Strat. And people will tell you there was a time when you couldn't give Strats away. People just didn't care about them. They weren't in fashion. And so I got a really good deal on my Strat, and it had been sitting in the case for the longest time. You know, like I've got two Fernandez Stratocasters, and then I have this Project Squire that I did. The one Fender or Fernandez, excuse me, is it's not really it's a Strat shaped guitar, but it's got a Floyd, and it's got active pickups with a Sustainiac. And like that guitar is incredible, but it's not a Strat. It's like there's nothing like you shut the lights off and blurred your eyes, you might think it's a Strat, but it's not. And it's a lot heavier than a Strat. The neck is not very Strat-like on that guitar. It's got a neck that lends itself to playing proper, like legit. That's a great guitar. But it's kind of a one-trick pony because it's got those active, which are really good for high gain stuff. Now, my Steinberger Spirit, that has these super distortion pickups in it, and that thing, it has a better high gain tone. I think I can't say that. I have to get my active pickup guitar out and try it with the new XMG, because you know what, Donna, I've never played that Fernandez through the MG. I've never played it.
Probably not, yeah.
So there'll be another video where I'm talking about that gray guitar and how much I love it. But in this video today, I cleaned up my Strat and I put strings on it. And my point is, don't ever let anyone tell you that a Squire is just as good as a real Strat, because the real Strat, it plays better, it sounds better, and it feels better, and the tremolo is unbelievable. The tremolo system on that guitar feels so good. I remember when I was young, there was a drummer who laughed at me because of how I used the tremolo. I said, "What's so funny?" And he said, "No, he said I never saw anybody." And I was imitating Adrian Belew. Now, later I've got this Squire, and I use the tremolo, but the real Strat tremolo just smokes it. It doesn't. You can't even compare them. You can't even compare them. How good that tremolo feels on that real Strat. So don't ever let anybody tell you, and that's not to say that um, you can't you can't do proper tremolo techniques with a squire, because you can figure it out, you can do it. It's just it's a different experience. But man, the like if you get good, if you're playing guitar and you get good, like if you have talent, not like me, you need to do whatever you can to get yourself a really good guitar. And part of that is a really good tremolo system, in my opinion. I mean, I do finger vibrato all day, but tremolo the tremolo system is for things that are different. They're completely different that you can't do with your finger vibrato. And like I started out, I didn't have a I had a Les Paul style guitar, and then I got the Strat in the early '90s, and I really leaned on the tremolo arm. And then when I was playing the Silver Fernandez with the active pickups and the sustainer, I really that has a Floyd locker locking tremolo, and that's a different feel. The Floyd is a different feel than this Fender. This Fender that I have, it's a six screw, but the feel on it is like it's like the Magic Fingers where you put a quarter in the vibrating bed. It's just like you're home when you play that tremolo. It's I just can't describe it. Um, so pretty much maybe after I was playing the silver guitar, which is like more. I got that Steinberger, and the Steinberger tremolo is really stiff. It's rock hard. So, and you can't pull up on it. You'll break the guitar if you pull up on it. Never pull up on a Steinberger tremolo. Never do that. I've done it on mine probably 3 times. It does come up. You'll hear the string come up a little bit in pitch, but it's not designed to, and you'll rip the bridge out of it. And I've done it like 3 times. I did it today. I forgot about that tremolo. I was like, is this thing locked? And I pushed down and pulled up on it because there's a stupid lock. And it's like, no, it's not locked. That's just how stiff it is, dummy. So yeah, uh, I think more than likely what I'm going to be doing would be my Strat, which you guys have probably never seen before if you're more Johnny Come Lately. I mean, if you've been around since if you've seen the footage when my daughter was 4, when I was gigging with my Strat, you've seen it. But it's it's a beautiful Strat. It's Midnight Blue, and Adrian Ballou signed it. So I took all that stuff off and I replaced it with I mirrored it out. So it's Midnight Blue with mirror, and then it's black. Everything's blacked out on it pretty much. I got a chrome tip on the whammy bar. I've got a metal tip, and that's my favorite thing on that guitar. It's got tricked out locking, like really nice locking tuners, and it's got black graphite all over it. It's it's a fucking great guitar. I mean, it really is. It I could not believe how nice it was when I got it out today. It just completely smokes the stupid Squire that I've been playing. I'm just like, what an idiot. I've been playing this Squire, you know. So I don't know. I'm gonna take it out. I want you guys to see it. But I mean, there's always a chance we could get robbed, or I mean, we're outdoors. There's a chance somebody wanted to rob me at gunpoint. So I don't like taking it out. But you guys will see it. So more than likely, this new set of music. I got one song that was co-written by this dude, Steve Steppe. He was a bass player in this Chicago punk band called Rights of the Accused. I'm Facebook friends with him. And he was playing acoustic, singing a mantra. It was kind of like out of tune. And he was singing, but I heard what he was doing, and I'm like, I gotta cover that. So I asked him, would you mind if me and my wife covered this? And he was like, no, that would be awesome. So he was like, yeah, can I hear it? And I, sent him a copy of us playing over the backing track, and he liked it. He loved it. So I got that new piece. It's 16 originals, except for this one that this other dude wrote the main motif. So I'm probably more than likely going to be using my old Strat, be using the yellow Steinberger, and I will be using the Buckethead Spade. What is it called? Bootlegger. The Bootlegger Spade. I played the Bootlegger Spade the other day. I played the whole set on it, and I played like a champ. And I hardly made any mistakes. I was like inspired playing, and it's got these custom pickups in there, but man, I got some sounds out of it that it just absolutely floored me on this piece that normally the Stratocaster sounds, it's on its 2 and 4 thing, and it's doing its ducky, it's this real beautiful thing with and I hit the C chord, and it's real expansive sound with the reverb and everything, but this was like, it almost sounded like Hawaiian slide guitar. Like it just blew my mind. So I was like, I got to use that guitar. So I'm going to be going through the set list. I'm going to figure out some of these songs really need humbucker, and it's nice to have a break off of the Strat. We got one like metal thing called Parumpa Pum Pum, which you guys might have seen that because we played it last year. It's got a Rude Boy intro on it, and it's this really spastic piece of music that I use a wound up high gain heavy metal kind of distortion on it. And it's an indescribable piece. It's just bizarre piece. It's got a Rude Boy intro and outro, and it's kind of like I play a melody and then we go into some patterns. And it's just a really weird piece of music, but most of this stuff is cleaner, or getting into that like Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of distortion, dirty Strat sound, but there's no like metal. That Parumpa Pum Pum is metal, but really other than that, all of the tones are like big boy tones where you can really hear the guitar and it's not just all ratted out distortion. One of the things, the pedal board that I'm using has a germanium Rangemaster that's modded out. Man, that's a great pedal. Following that is an EP boost, which brings some of the meat back, some of the bass. And then I've got it's called a Rev G3. Now that's a really versatile dirt box, and it's got this anger switch on it. And that's all the fizz. You can have red or blue or off. You shut the anger off, and it just like filters. It does like, with some distortions, they'll really filter, they'll cut the highs and the lows and crank up the mid-range. So I have that pedal last, and you run it with the gain kind of down, just cracked open enough to make it loud, and with the volume at about 5, and the EQ pretty much normal, and it really sounds good. it this really sounds. I'm running a new XMG30 amp modeler, and these 3 pedals are in the effects loop. So turning these pedals on and off, you can get it's like the effect of having amp channels. It's really cool. It's really cool because I mean it's a digital rig, but um, the amp modeling, it's taking the pedals like it would in real life. So it's super cool, super cool. I mean this is a little bit newer equipment, a little bit more expensive. And people claim it's like one of the best sounding modelers on the market. For the money it is, the new XMG30. They have the new XMG300, which is its little brother, which that's pretty good too. It really is. There isn't a bad sound in the box in that one. The MG30 is more challenging. Um, but yeah, it's been a massive amount of work putting this stuff together. We tried to use a bunch of really interesting, uh, like I have a lot of delays that are tap tempo in time with it in everything. Like the bass is using the Terra Echo, and I'm using quarter note delay on top of that, dotted quarter, dotted eighth stuff on my wife's rig. Um, so we're in the process of finalizing and learning all this, and then we'll be playing it and hopefully capture the whole thing. It's a lot. It's a lot of music. It's 16 songs, but we're gonna do our best, and I hope you guys will give us a shot and check some of that music out. It's just that the way we like to do it is at remotes. We have equipment that we've hacked together to run off lithium-ion batteries, and we'll film outdoors. So if you haven't seen that, the audio is off the mixing board, and it sounds really good. I would encourage you to check out some of our remote. Just type remote into the search on my channel and check some of that out. But like the last few years, the sound has improved more simply because we're getting that right off the board mix, and I always edit the video, and it's a lot of fun. And that's the way we do it because we live in an apartment. We can't really we're going to set up on the patio and just jam out because the cops come. Even if we use computer speakers to play through, the cops come. People call the cops on us. And we live in a land where everyone's got subwoofers.
Hey, maybe we should sit in the car and play through speakers.
Yep, we should. We should. That's the only thing. It's like everybody else is allowed to, I mean, they're smoking weed. There's this white guy, and he's my age, but he looks like 25 years older than me. And he's all complaining to me about his knee or whatever it was. He lives with his mom. He comes out and sits in his little black SUV and gets high and just cranks the gangster rap music for hours. And I'll come out there and he'll be in his vehicle asleep, and it's fucking do 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 do. And I'm ready to have a nervous breakdown because it's been 4 hours of this. It's right next to my, it's tight quarters. It's I don't know what you think. Cranking your music for hours. You think that nobody else can hear it? So yeah, that's what we do. We found remote locations to do what we do, and that way we don't bother anybody. So we should be bringing some of that music to you guys soon. And I mean, it's not like I'm super bitter over this guy or any of the other people that do that, but it is kind of like pouring salt in my wounds. You know, I mean, we've been hassled. We got kicked out of Cook County by a forest preserve cop who was demanding that we had permits to do this, to set up in the back of some woods where there's nobody there, not even in the pavilion, just in the back. And we would set up with our when our kids were here and play some original rock and roll out there. We had a keyboard, two electric guitars, a bass, and a drum machine. And we had like 185 pieces of music by the time we finished doing that. We did it for 3.5 years, and I've got a bunch of video of it. But there was one cop that used to come and just hassle us, you know, demand that we have a permit. So when I talk about this stuff, sometimes I get a little weird attitude about it because it's like the amount of work that we've had to do to be able to do this, and because there's nowhere like we're good enough that we could, if there was a place for us to play this music, we would play it there. But there isn't a place for people to play original instrumental music. There isn't. You can't do that. You know. How am I going to go into a bar and be like, this next song is called T222, and I called it that because I looked at my T on Tuesday and it was 220, and that's the name of the song, and it's in E. You know what I mean? People aren't gonna care. So I'm my own worst enemy, and when I complain, that just means that I'm doing good. So super excited about these 16 new pieces of music. I think these songs are really strong. I'm really proud of it. It's been a lot of work. I went way out of my way with this to do it right, even in writing the stuff, and we're trying to get all the bugs worked out of it, even though, you know, it's like we're stretching ourselves so thin playing this stuff. So hopefully we may play this set for a couple of years, because I don't know how we were going to get it all down, you know. But who knows? Sometimes you go out and you have a flawless day, you know. Maybe something magical would happen. I would find a Amanita muscaria mushroom in my Lucky Charms and be microdose tripping just enough to cast all the negative energy and demons out of my soul, and I would play like Syd Barrett before the breakdown in Pink Floyd, play just inspired guitar soloing. And all right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Hug your pets, and I give you credit anytime it's some Petey talking about guitar. Like, if you watch this, in any event, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. This music, it's worth the wait, and it's worth me talking about all this crap. To me, it is. It's going to be good this time. So I'm excited. I can't wait to bring that to you. We'll see you when I got an upload. Talk to you soon. Hug your pets, and peace.